Hey guys. For those of you who are new here, my name is Berna, and I am a psychotherapist and law of assumption coach. If you would like to book a session with me, the link will be in the description box below. Okay, let's get into the video for today. So, I just wanted to come on here and make a little video for those of you who are struggling. Maybe you're feeling powerless, you're feeling, you're kind of falling back into like victim mode. The 3D seems very real and solid, and you're kind of constantly trying to problem solve, like, how can I change this? What should I do? So that's like the old way of doing things. And it makes sense that we fall back into that mode because it's how we're trained from a very young age, right? Most of us in this reality. So it's something we have to constantly remind ourselves, like, oh yeah, I'm the cause, right? It's reflecting me. Everything that's happening in my reality is reflecting me. And this is not to like go into a shame spiral about this at all, right? It's to like always remind ourselves with like gentleness and compassion, like, oh yeah, this is just how it works. I'm the operant power here. I'm, the alpha and the omega. I'm the beginning and the end of everything. And Neville Goddard calls this like the pearl of great price. Really fully accepting, right, that like we are the only cause of our experiences, right? Obviously, not when we're kids, but when we're adults, right? So when we're adults, we are manifesting our reality. When we're kids, we're just kind of thrown into some random circumstances. Um, but, the great thing about knowing about the law of assumption is that we understand that like we can revise whatever, circumstances we grew up with. And I honestly really encourage that. I have a lot of my clients really focus on, just like revising their whole life. And it doesn't have to be something that takes a lot of time. It's just something we come back to again and again. And it feels really nice. It feels good, Just like creating a safe place, right, that we can go back to in our imagination again and again, which is, really important for any kind of trauma work. It's the same thing, except with the law of assumption, we know that like we're actually creating. Every time we create something in our imagination that feels good, right, we're changing our reality for the better. So, and yeah, we can have, resistance sometimes to these different things, having what we want, but it's just about reminding ourselves again and again, oh, right, this is how it works. Oh, so what if I'm seeing something I don't prefer? So what? It's not a big deal because I can easily and quickly change it. And then as we sort of, you know, program our minds with the beliefs that, like, I can have anything I want, I always get what I want, I manifest my desires quickly and easily, my life is getting better every day, we're going to see more and more evidence of that. That's just how it works. And we know that not only through the law of assumption and like teachers like Neville Goddard, Florence Scovel Shinn, Joseph Murphy, but also from neuroscience and quantum physics. It's all telling us the exact same thing. So, anyway, that's just a little preamble. But let's just take a moment to connect with our inner power, right? So, whether you think of that as your subconscious mind, your higher self, your God self, it's all kind of the same thing. So, take a moment to just notice how you're feeling in this moment, right? Maybe there's some areas of your body that feel more relaxed, some that feel more like, there's more tension, contraction, and just allow it to be present, right? Having this like kind of moment of just like, okay, all of you is welcome here. You can bring some attention to your heart area, maybe put a hand there if that feels supportive. And just kind of take a moment, take a breath, and just really notice if you tell yourself, if you just say the word power, right? If you just kind of connect with that as a concept, right? Which is what Joseph Murphy says to do if you're feeling kind of like overwhelmed or you're struggling with affirmations. just say the concept itself. So for people struggling with money, instead of being like, I have so much money, you would just say money, or like wealth, or like extreme wealth, right? And you just like focus on that over and over. Same with like romantic love. You just be like romantic love, safety, fulfillment, contentment, companionship, right? You're focusing on like, just because sometimes our minds can get a little, again, right? This is maybe earlier stages of manifestation, but it can happen at any time. Anytime we're triggered, it can be challenging to affirm. So I like to go sort of like broad concepts, then maybe more specific rampages or robotic affirming, and then into a visualization, right? Or scripting, or like imagining a conversation with a friend where you're telling them all these amazing things are happening in your life. But coming back to this, like, just sense of power in your body, notice what it feels like. So for me, right, the victim state feels like very heavy, you know, there's a sense of like longing and sadness. Whereas when I am in a power, state of like connecting with my power, I feel like a lot of calm centeredness. I feel a lot of warmth actually and heat in my body. Um, yeah, it feels really nice. So see if you can just feel what that feels like in your body. Power. What does it feel like to feel like the operant power? Does it feel like scary? Like, oh, I don't want that responsibility. Is there a way that you can connect, right, with your powerful self, who is also your fulfilled self, right? So the state of power is also a state. Just kind of notice how it's connected to a state of like fulfillment, right? Like maybe there's like some joy there of like, wow, I can have anything I want. Like, I love being powerful. Just take a moment to just feel that in your system, right? Just this joy in your power. Like, I love this. I love being powerful. I love getting everything that I want. I love living in a reality where I can see that I'm creating beautiful experiences for myself and others every day. I love the way this feels, right? And then feel your entire reality just kind of like radiating towards you. Love, gratitude, right? Feel gratitude coming from everyone, right? Everyone is applauding you, adoring you, cherishing you, choosing you, right? You can rely on your 3D, right? It loves you. You're feeling this like love just emanating from everyone and everything. And just notice this like sense of power. Maybe you almost feel like you're like glowing a little bit, right? There's this sense of this kind of like inner fire, inner light, right? Whatever it feels like to you. Again, to me, it feels like kind of a sense of like warmth radiating outward. Um, just a sense of like being my true self, you know? Um, yeah, it's a really nice feeling. So, the reason that we're doing that little exercise, right? Just a little meditation on power is because, again, we're in this process, um, right? Where we're changing our assumptions so that we can have what we want, keep what we want, and just live an amazing, fulfilled life. Is that we have to just keep bringing our brain from this sort of like negative old thoughts and stories and beliefs over to anything else, right? Neutrality, good feelings, right? Ultimately we're getting towards the good feelings, but even if you just get to something neutral, right? You just say like no to those old terrible beliefs. You're like, "No. I'm just not interested in those." Now I'm actually interested in what it will be like when I'm so fulfilled that like I don't even know what to do with myself, right? I don't even know what to manifest next because like I have it all. Just see if you can just even just imagine a little bit being in this state, right? So You're with your person, you're married if that's your end goal, right? You notice like the ring on your finger, maybe you have a tattoo ring, it's up to you. And you're living together in like the location of your dreams, in the home of your dreams, and you're just like looking around, you have everything you've ever wanted, right? You have all the money in the bank. You don't even have to work if you don't want to. You can just do it for fun, right? Because sometimes it's fun, you know? If there's something you like to do, but there's no pressure, you know? And just imagine what this state is like, right? Maybe your brain is like a little bit confused, like because maybe you are a problem solver, like I am. I love to solve problems. I'm an overthinker, and that really kept me from manifesting what I wanted for a long time because I wanted to problem solve it, you know. But then when I learned about the law of assumption, something really clicked for me, and you we really have to like give up that old way of problem solving, at least in the 3D, right? So think of other things that you'll be doing in this fulfilled state. So maybe you'll need to take up like, you know, crossword puzzles or chess or some other way to like use that part of your brain that loves to problem solve and overthink, right? You can like watch a murder mystery and be like, oh, who did it? What's going on here? You know? Um, so maybe just take a moment to imagine that because that is what you're going for. You're going for this reality where you barely even remember, right? Neville Goddard has this technique where he says, I remember when. And you're supposed to do about your current circumstances, like, especially if you're very triggered, it can be actually helpful to like look around, right? Say your car just broke down and you know your windshield wipers broke and it's raining and like everything is falling apart, right? See if you know in that moment you can just be like, I remember when the windshield wipers broke and it was raining and it was like such a rough day. But I like to take it even a step further and be like, I barely remember. I can barely remember when that happened, you know? It feels like a weird dream. And honestly, if there's something that happens in your, I mean, I can make a separate video about that probably for revision. Um, but you can also just tell yourself if something happened that's like troubling you, you can just tell yourself, like, no, that was just a really vivid dream, you know? Again, when you do any kind of revision, you're not telling yourself that like the things that you remember were great and amazing. You are asserting that you are on a different timeline, right? And that you have always been on your preferred timeline. And things will start to change, right? And revision, I know, some people can take a minute to sort of want to try that out, but I find that it speeds up manifestation quite a lot to just spend some time being like, because again, if you think about it, right, the only reason that you're manifesting things you don't want is because of these beliefs that developed from past experiences. So if you change those past experiences for yourself through imagination, through affirmations, even just revision affirmations, then you're not going to have those, it's going to be so much easier to just believe these new affirmations about the present moment, right? If you've been telling yourself for a while, like, yeah, everything in my life has always been wonderful, it's going to be much, much easier for you to tell yourself now, like, yeah, of course this present moment is wonderful. Of course I always get what I want. Of course my person loves me and chooses me. They always have. Everyone has. You know? It just makes sense. So I would really give that a try. Really connect with your power just as much as you can, Just see if you can like feel that in your body, and just when you feel it, see if you can just like enjoy it just a little bit. Like, yeah, rawr, that kind of like feeling of just being like a badass. Like, yeah, I can do anything. Like, I'm magical. I'm powerful. I'm everything because you really are. That is the great gift of learning about the law of assumption, is like realizing like, no, there's no God out there testing you. There's no universe outside of you testing you or choosing things for you. You're choosing everything. So you may as well just choose to have like everything you want. and choose like a beautiful reality for yourself and all of your loved ones and just everyone, you know? You can just imagine that everyone in the world is kind and wonderful and happy and safe and free. And just notice that even by imagining that, it makes you feel better, right? Because you're creating your preferred reality, and as you're giving to others through your imagination, you're giving to yourself because everyone is you pushed out. And if, there are mean people you've experienced in your reality, just say they can't exist. They're not allowed to exist in your reality. You get to choose. You're God. You're creating the rules. Okay. I intend that was helpful. Um, Again, feel free to, comment if you'd like me to make a video about a specific topic. If anything was like confusing, and feel free to reach out if you would like coaching. Okay, hope you're all doing really well. I'll talk to you later. Bye now.